This is the S&P 500 SPDR ETF 1-month overview reading for the month of August 2024. It's currently June 20th, 2024, 8:59 p.m. Eastern Time. SPY at the time of this reading is $547, that's USD. The shuffle video for the August SPY reading was created on June 29th, 2024 at 7:42 p.m. Eastern Time. That's a video playing for you in the lower left corner. The overall theme and behavior for SPY in August, we have a decline on a one-year chart scale offering opportunity to open up a long position, which we'll talk about in a lot more depth when we get into the paid version. Behavior, it's crossed, however, with sideways rotation along key support, important probably on a one-year chart scale as well. So the Ace of Cups is either a decline or a decline followed by an incline. It depends on how it fits into the reading. Behavior around the highest high for the month, we have out of a decline a big move from the bottom of the range all the way to the top of the range. Behavior around the lowest low for the month, we have price swings. There's probably two lows based on the Dominion card there. Now we're going to get into the day-by-day chart behavior as well as finding the highs, lows, and the best trade opportunities. But before we do that, I just want to make sure you're aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of the profits from every profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of these charities, or pick a charity of your choosing as long as you're paying 5% forward, and then 5% should be sent back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise or you can use YouTube tips, and that leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. Let's get back into it. Okay guys, so if you're new to Astro Meta-Analysis, remember, it's a sequence of events as outlined by the prediction that's most important to pay attention to. Usually the timing is on point, but occasionally the timing is off, and when that happens, it's important to follow the sequence of events that'll keep you on track. So just remember that, plus or minus a day here sometimes. So on the first, we have an important support level highlighted on a multi-day scale. There's a prominent peak and a prominent trough, a big rally at the end of the day to the upside, a lot of price change covered. Volatility on the second and a prominent peak. This is most likely where we have our highest high around the first second. This is most likely where we have our highest high for the month. On the 5th, we have a period of volatility and a sharp drop that stands out in that period of volatility. Looks like a trough, prominent trough, possibly even a lowest low. Definitely a lowest low thus far at the end of the day on the 5th. A lot of price change on the 6th, an important trade opportunity there. Looks like we rally out of the trough from the 5th into the 6th, and there's a peak on the 7th. We might see a highest high again here. There is some possibility that we see a highest high here, but we're bound by an important range on a multi-day scale there, and then the high side might actually be like on the cusp of the 6th, 7th, hard to say. But from that high side, that rally into key resistance at a high side, we decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. That would make sense, right? The high forms after we hit a low, and then out of the decline, we go from the bottom of range all the way to the top of range. So there's a high somewhere right around here for 7th, 8th. And then from that rally decline, consecutively lower spikes up on the way down, taking us into sideways rotation along key support on a multi-day scale there on the 9th. Trough at the end of the day on the 9th after a peak that we sell off from through multiple supports. So we have a pretty big move to the upside out of lower open. There's a pretty big move to the upside early in the day, and then that turns into just equal amounts of bulls and bear inflow and outflow. Looks like we're back at troughs by the end of the day on the 12th. On the 13th, I'm advised to be cautious. Multiple false tops, bottoms, or some sort of tricky chart behavior. That reversal is probably pretty notable. And then on the 14th, we have a decline increasing with momentum moving forward in time. It may be that it's coming out of another prominent peak. There is a little possibility of a high here on the 14th, 15th, but I don't think so. I think it's there on the beginning of the month in that first couple days and then in the first week. Anyhow, there's a peak there that we decline from increasing with momentum. There's a peak on the 14th that we decline from increasing with momentum moving forward into the decline, taking us to a prominent trough on the 15th at an important support level on a one-year chart scale. Usually can be relied upon. We do some sideways rotation there into a pop and drop on the 16th. That pop and drop takes us into another trough, an important low towards the later part of the day on the 16th. Before we go any further, let's take a look at June and see how we're doing so far. I have a high for the 5th. We absolutely nailed that one. And then, yeah, it looks like the low, I missed the low here. There was another lowest low here on the 7th, which it's there. I just missed it. Big move out of it. That's this room right here. And then we came close to lows again on the 18th. I'm not positive about that high there at the end of the month. That might be throwing me off. But either way, there's a strong probability of a high here on the 25th, 26th. And we're still within range of that taking place. It does look like there's a peak at the end of the month. And a big move here between the 24th and the 25th. All right, so on the 4th, it's really on the 3rd, 4th. Could open up a long position, close that long position on the 6th. That would have held up pretty nicely. Yeah, and this rune indicates for out of a decline from the bottom of range to the top of range. You could have bought a long position here and close out a long position probably the next day. I would have done it. So at key resistance that we failed to break through many times before on the 17th, you could have opened up a short position and then closed it on the 18th, 19th. That would have held up pretty solid. So I mean, the trades are pretty solid, even though it was a little bit off on one of the lows there. But aside from that, pretty solid stuff, guys. Not my best work, but most of my June readings panned out pretty much close to 100%. And guys, if you want to get this information sooner, check out early access on our website to all this information. It comes out roughly like a month ahead of where it comes out on the public YouTube, allowing for extra planning ability. It's really the only kind of analysis that you can do planning ahead with. But with that said, you can do that so here at our services, Astro Meta posts, early access to a post, click here to subscribe. We're running roughly a 98% average accuracy day after day after day, predicting the chart behavior by the hour with highs and lows throughout the day. We've been doing it for years. Just scroll back, 98% average accuracy accuracy. 29 bucks a month, $249 for the year gets you access to all of our public posts on YouTube way ahead of when they come out on YouTube, allowing you to plan ahead. So thank you to everybody that goes ahead and does that. Great way to support the channel. Much appreciation. Open lower on the 19th, and there's a decline to multiple support levels there. Yeah, I hit a clairvoyant impression. An ant came into my domain while I was doing these readings and fell off a shelf right onto my board. So that was a pretty good indication. Some sort of decline going on there, some sort of surprise drop or something like that. It was on the 16th and the 17th. A lot of price to the upside early in the day on the 20th, taking us to another prominent peak towards the end of the day, and then a big move to the upside, reaching for distant resistance on the 21st. Decline from that resistance into the 22nd, to and through support to meet another support and rotate sideways along that support, and then there's bearish price swings and a sharp drop on the 23rd. We open higher on the 26th, and there's a sharp decline midday, taking us into a trough or possible lowest low towards the end of the day there. Now, this is a little tricky because there's also some possibilities here of highest high going on. It is a possibility. I don't think so, but there is some possibility of it. So just be careful there. I think it's a lowest low, most likely. Well, I think this is a lowest low, and then this is probably another significant low. It might not be a lowest low, but it'll be a significant low. And I say that because we have lows in a lot of the 1 months here around the 27th. In any case, there's a period of sideways rotation that ends with a fast sudden move higher. There on the 27th, and on the 28th, we have a resistance level on a multi-day scale that's highlighted. We decline from that, probably from a brief peak that's easily missed through multiple supports, and then we return back to that resistance either on the 28th or more likely on the 30th. 29th to the 30th. On the 29th, we have a peak that forms when we have a prominent move through key resistance on a multi-day scale. We stay above it briefly before breaking back down through it shortly thereafter with a full retracement. And then on the 30th, we have an important resistance level highlighted that we failed to break through many times before. The sneak preview for September, we have a notable trade opportunity standing out on a 1-year chart scale. There's a lowest low, probably a lower low there. And is it lower? It might be the same low. Hard to say if there's a high or a low there, guys. So be very careful on that last week. I wish I could be more clear, but it's only as clear as I'm only as clear as I can see it. You know, if I can't see it clearly, there's not much I can do about it to make it clear. And there's a rally along a diagonal trend line out of that trade opportunity in that low in September. There's a rally along a diagonal trend line breaking through horizontal resistance to meet another resistance before pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels, and that's on the scale of a multi-day chart. So I want to cash out of positions, long positions here on the 1st, 2nd for a profit. I'd open up a short and close the short at the end of the day on the 5th. Yeah, in the midst of the sharp drop here. In the midst of that decline there on the 3rd, you could open up a long position, close that long position on the 7th or the 8th. When we meet a range on a multi-day scale that's important, it's probably a highest high there. There's actually a day trade in there on the 14th. In the midst of a decline, you could, increasing with momentum moving forward in time, you could open up a long position and close that long position probably towards the end of the day. If not the end of the day on the 14th, you could probably close it on the 15th. I wouldn't hold it longer than that. Early in the day on the 20th, before a big move to the upside out of a trough on the 19th, 20th, you could open up a long position and hold that long position until the end of the day on the 20th, or possibly the end of the day on the 21st. This is really tricky over here, the 26th and the 27th. I'd be really careful with that, guys. The resistance level on the 28th that we declined from, you could open up a long position in the midst of the decline, and then probably close that long position on the 30th. And those are the best trades from the standpoint of a multi-day swing. I probably want to position myself in a long position for to cash out at this peak at the end of September. And I would do so. I would open up a small long position here in the midst of this decline, just in case that does end up being a lowest low. With the majority of the long position, I probably want to open that here around the 20th, 21st. I'm not seeing trade opportunity really on the 26th, 27th, so it might be that it's over here with this death card. And pointing the lowest low and the highest high. The lowest low is a little bit tricky, guys. But the highest high is most likely here with the 1st, 2nd, and the 7th. Lowest low is probably here on the 5th, here on the 26th, 27th, but it might be that we see it also here on the 20th and then revisit it here on the 25th, 26th, 27th. Probably something around these levels as far as the low. Guys, that's SPY for August 2024. Guys, if you want the best trades, the best way to do that is to get on the live streams that we do every day. There's almost always a live stream between 3 and 4 p.m. on weekdays, but we're doing them sporadically throughout the day at different times now too, so we can be available to other people. But there's a reliable every day between 3. We don't necessarily get on right at 3, but between 3 and 4 every single day. You can ask all sorts of trade questions there, guys. Best way to get up to date in case there's something wrong with this reading when we get there. We can still look at it in real time, determine what was wrong, how we read it wrong, what it actually is correctly, and the trades are still very valuable. They make a lot more sense the closer you get, obviously, because you have more information. So check out the lives, guys. Really great way to get the most out of this channel. I'll see you guys there. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one.